Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, Rahmati Alam by Sayyid Suleiman Nadvi, Muhammad peace be upon him, Mercy for the Universe, translated by Adolf Luther, Chapter 46. The Prophet's Morals and Manners, Chapter 2. The women were leading a disgraceful life prior to the advent of Islam. They were highly favored by the Prophet. He gave them proper rights to lead an honorable life. He offered his own example. His behavior towards women was very decent. He imparted them good lessons whenever he had the chance to meet them in his house or outside. On their request, he reserved a day for imparting religion to them. They asked him questions unhesitatingly. He never felt it ill. He was very hospitable to them. The Prophet was a mercy for the entire mankind, so he never liked opposition or oppression on anyone, nor did he like injustice to be done to any person. So much so that he did not like carelessness to be shown to animals. He took steps to rid all kinds of cruelty done to the dumb creatures. Once a man picked up an egg of a bird from its nest. The sparrow fluttered over him impatiently. The Prophet asked him, who had picked up the egg to trouble the bird? The man said, O Prophet of God, I have picked up its egg. The Prophet asked him to put it in the same nest. The rich and the poor were all alike before him. A woman of Makhzum was arrested for theft. The people demanded punishment to not given to her. Hazrat Umama approached him. The Prophet told them, the nations before you were destroyed when the rich were not awarded punishment and the poor were persecuted for the crimes they committed. By God, if Muhammad's daughter committed theft, her hands would have been severed. Merciful among all the prophets, a blessing for all destitutes, to be of help to calamity torn, who shared people's sorrows, mourn, shelter for destitutes and poor, guard of orphans, slave, well-wisher, who overlooked the people's fault, who brought a change in arrogant ear, discord, strife, eradicated, all the tribes he integrated, from Hira to the people came, he had the prescription with him, transformed ore into pure gold, sifted the right from fickle fold, Arabs who lived in ignorance, for ages saved from pestilence, no fear of fearful waves in range, direction of the storm did change. Hazrat Anas says, I remained 10 years in the service of the Prophet, but he was never harsh to me, nor he asked me as to why I did not do such and such work. The Prophet never annoyed any person throughout his life. Is it not surprising that a general in war for 9 years never retreated in war, nor took a sword against his enemy, nor attacked his foe with his own hands? In the Uhud campaign, when stones and arrows were volleyed against him, he remained steadfast in his place while his warriors were being slain and slaughtered around him. In a similar situation in Hunain campaign, most of the Muslim soldiers were uprooted. The Prophet did not move an inch from his place. He used to take his position at such a place in the battle which the brave considered to be the best place for the war tactics. At such a dangerous place, he was never offensive against the enemy. In the Uhud war, when he was severely wounded and his teeth were broken, he simply said, O Lord, forgive them, for they know me not. The Prophet was never disheartened after experiencing great tortures and perseverity of his mission for many years. A day did come when he was victorious over the whole of Arabia, when a companion was overwhelmed with grief and cruelty, and he requested the Prophet, O Prophet of God, why don't you invoke God for us? He said, the people who lived before you were cut with saws, their bodies were scratched with iron combs, which cut their flesh, but atrocities never distressed them, nor they deflected from the truth. By God, the Islam shall reach the pinnacle of its glory. A rider would travel from Sana'a, Yemen, to Hazaramaut without danger on the way, except the fear of God. Do you remember the determination and steadfastness of the Prophet when he answered his uncle, O uncle, if the Quraysh put the sun on my right hand and the moon on my left hand, I shall not discontinue my mission of spreading the truth. Once he was reclining under the shade of a tree. The war was going on. An Arab came to the Prophet, unsheathed his sword, and said, Tell me, O Muhammad, peace be upon him, who can now save you from me? The Prophet was quite content. He replied, God. The infidel began to tremble. He put his sword in the sheath. The war booty and the produce of the Khyber area, etc., did not eliminate companions' poverty, nor the Prophet led a comfortable life. Whatever came to the Prophet was distributed among the poor and the needy. He and his wives led a life of poverty throughout. He used to say, "Some cloth is needed for the Son of Man to hide his private parts, some dried bread and water sufficient for his stomach." He acted upon this principle. Hazrat Aisha says, his clothes were never folded to be kept in his store. That is, he had only one suit and nothing else for keeping in reserve. The Prophet's family usually starved for days together. It is history that for full 2 months no fire was lit in his house. They lived on dates. If any neighbor sent some milk to them, they drank it, otherwise remained without it. Hazrat Aisha says, during the Prophet's stay in Medina, he never ate his fill. Once a person came to the Prophet. He was hungry. The Prophet sought some food from his wife for the stranger. He was informed, "There is nothing in the house to offer." The same reply was received from all the 8 wives. None of them had anything in store. One day the Prophet stepped out of his house. He was hungry. On the way he met Hazrat Abu Bakr and Hazrat Umar. They too were hungry. He took them to the house of Hazrat Ayyub Ansari, who came running to the Prophet. He rushed to the garden and brought a bundle of dates and offered it to the guests. Then he slaughtered a goat, cooked some food for them and placed before them. The Prophet said, "Take some bread and meat to Fatima, for she did not have anything to eat for so many days." When the Prophet breathed his last, his coat of mail was lying mortgaged with a Jew. His clothes had many patches. The Prophet loved his daughter Fatima very much, but this love never made him to provide gold ornaments for her, or house of bricks and concrete. She worked in her house without the aid of any slave or servant. She brought water from a long distance carrying the goat skin on her shoulders. She used to grind corn by the handmill. If she asked her father for a servant, the reply was, "My dear daughter, recite such and such praise for God." Once many slave girls and men came to the Prophet. He said to her, "O my dearest daughter, orphans of Badr and the people of Safa have more rights than you." To be continued. Jazakallah. Narrated by Sabeen Abbas. May Allah guide us on the right path. Ameen. Jazakallah. Don't forget to subscribe the channel and hit the bell icon so you don't miss the updates till next time. Thank you.